Today's excited, man. We get an opportunity to play some football, some meaningful football. Looking forward to this weekend, getting out there and competing. I'm excited, man. Football still means something to the guys in this locker room and the guys that's going out there Sunday. So, man, um, for the guys that's, you know, giving it their all, man, it means a lot. I'm looking forward to the opportunity. Uh, Man, it's very weird, but it happens. Things happen throughout the course of a football game, and you know, uh, just got to keep your head down, and keep rolling. Yeah, man. Every time you go out there, it's an opportunity to just learn different things about your teammates, yourself, and that's pretty much it. We practice throughout the week. We throw routes on the air. You get a good feel for the guys, and we just want to apply it to the game. I mean, throughout the course of the game, emotions are high, flaring. Your competitive juices set in, and you want to continue to fight through whatever you're going through. So I didn't notice anything, so yeah. You just got to respect the game, man. You respect the game rewards you. So that's all. I had a good talk this morning with my good friend Steve and Ray, Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles.
What the hell's he talking about? This is the guy that's going to be driving the ship on Sunday. This is the guy who's going to be at the helm all Sunday afternoon against the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick. And he's talking to Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles. And they've said it's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. That's what he just said. I mean, he literally just said that. Let's finish off what he had to say.
And they can see what's going on, so, yeah. Oh, yeah, we just go out there and compete, man, for one another. It's an opportunity to go out there for guys like Tyreek, Melvin, Xavier, Mike, Sealer, Javon Holland, guys who, this game means something to. So I get an opportunity to go out there with them Sunday. I'm looking forward to it.
So I was kidding. I don't care if Teddy Two Gloves has to smoke a bowl of the most Maui stuff he can find if he can perform on Sunday. In fact, maybe Tua can hook him up with a connection and get some Maui Wowie sent to Miramar or wherever Teddy lives and hook him up. Hook a brother up. If it takes that to get him on the field to win, I'm okay with that. I am definitely okay with that. His words, not mine. He's talking to Ray Charles and Smokey Robinson and Stevie Wonder and the rest of Motown. If it works, fine. I don't care. We have to focus on what's ahead of us. Everybody says, hey, Barry, you talked about Tua too much. Okay, here you go. I'm going to talk about Teddy Bridgewater today. Some of you might not like it. I'm just telling you, some of you might not like it. I have nothing against Teddy Bridgewater, but our chips are all pushed in on Teddy Bridgewater right now. So this is the first day of my new format. I did something the other day, actually, it's still up, where I ran a poll. And I said, hey guys, what would you like to see me do? I'm going to test something from now and through January, where I'm going to do a live show every weeknight at 6:30, and then I'm going to cut it up the following day into smaller excerpts. So if you can't stick around for an entire hour, because that's what I'm going to be shooting for, an entire hour, then at least you'll be able to see excerpts of the show as videos the following day. Sort of like what Pat McAfee, Jason Whitlock, Rich Eisen, some of the guys do. And it seems to work. And when I got that kind of response, when I got an 85-15 response, that tells me to go for it. I don't mind going live. In fact, let me just check to make sure I haven't been kicked off or bounced. But I'm simulcasting this to Twitter right now. So right now, I'm broadcasting live on YouTube, and I'm broadcasting live in the sewer of Twitter. Want to see what kind of insane clown posse I can attract over there. So anyway, in case you don't know me, my name is Barry Cunningham. I'm having to do that because I'm going to be changing things up. You're going to see a different studio behind me. You're going to see all kinds of different graphics. We're really going to make this a show. It's not just me pontificating or talking about Tua. We're going to cover a number of topics, and then we're going to slice those up. So let's start talking about Teddy Bridgewater. How much do you know about Teddy Bridgewater? Yeah, I'm looking at the roster right here. He's a 9-year guy out of Louisville. He's 6'2", 212 pounds. He's 29 years old. In reference, whether or not you believe it or not, Tua is 6'1", 217. So we're not talking about a huge gap in size here. They're very comparable. Teddy obviously wears the big Gazoo helmet because of the concussions. He said, "Oh, did you know that?" I just wonder how many people on ESPN, how many people in the media, on Fox Sports and on Twitter know about Teddy's history. Do you know about Teddy's history? Because nobody has called for Teddy to retire. Teddy maybe shouldn't even be in the league. Did you even know that? You're going to learn something right now. So let's talk about Teddy. So today is December 29th. Almost a year exactly, a year ago, Teddy Bridgewater was injured in a game with the Cincinnati Bengals. Yes, the Cincinnati Bengals. And Teddy got hurt in that game with the Cincinnati Bengals. Raise your hand if you remember what happened to Teddy Bridgewater, which nobody has said he needed to retire. So in case you're not aware of what happened with Teddy Bridgewater, let me refresh your memory. See if it reminds you of another Dolphins quarterback, but he didn't get asked to retire. So here's something, 1 year ago today, basically, on Teddy Bridgewater. So Teddy was running against the Bengals, and he bumped his head, and he went down hard. And, he didn't get up. He was unconscious the entire time. Then he got made unconscious, and then they turned Teddy over because, people get unconscious when they have concussions all the time. They revived him. Notice he wasn't really hit. He just lost his footing and boom, he bumped his head against the Cincinnati Bengals. And then he was carted off the field on a stretcher. And thank God Teddy has since recovered after being taken off the field on a stretcher against the Cincinnati Bengals. Did you all know that? I bet there's plenty, from what I've seen in the Dolphins fan base, I bet there's plenty who don't know that. I bet there's plenty who've never seen that, who didn't know how bad Teddy was hurt. That Teddy had a concussion, and he had the ambulance and had to come and take him off the field, and they had to immobilize his head. And no one's asked for him to retire. Not one person has said Teddy should retire. But I digress. Let's look at this. Let's look at Teddy Bridgewater's injury history. Have you seen Teddy Bridgewater's injury history? Let's see, as they chart it out here in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We go down to his history. In 2012, Teddy had an ankle sprain, a pull, unspecified, grade 1. Not bad. Then, in September 28, 2014, he had another ankle sprain. But, look here, November 8th, 2015, Teddy bumped his head and got a concussion. Notice, I want you to pay good attention to this. Notice it says grade 1. No one has talked about what grade Tua has suffered as of yet. But he had a grade 1 in November 8, 2015. But that's 7 years ago. Oh, okay. I'll keep going. Then he had torn ACL, grade 3 tear in 2016. Then he fractured his wrist. Wow, this guy is really injury prone. Good thing we have him here at the Miami Dolphins because our number 1 quarterback, QB1, he's so injury prone. Then in 2015, he did something. 2020, he had a grade 2 MCL sprain. Man, I can't catch a break. Wait a second. October 3rd, 2021, knocked his cranium again and had a grade 1 concussion. Then he had a shin bruise in November 28th, 21. Then he had December 19, 2021, he had a grade 2 concussion. Then on October 9th, 2022, the phantom concussion that he took against the New York Jets this year. So let's add that up for some of the people who are math challenged. You got concussion number 1, you got concussion number 2, you have concussion number 3, and you have concussion number 4. And this one here was a grade 2 concussion against the Cincinnati Bengals. Did you know that? Did you know that Teddy Bridgewater, who is now being heralded as the savior of the Miami Dolphins, where people on Twitter said, okay, let's get Teddy in or Skyler. Did you know he was injury prone, or was it just for Tua that people undertake those kind of discussions? Did you know that he's already had 4 concussions? One of them a grade 2? I'm not lying to you. I'm just showing you the data. Tell me how this guy isn't injury prone. Oh, but Barry, Tua's had 3 this year. Well, actually 2, but if you want to count the other one in Buffalo as a concussion because you don't believe the doctors, I understand the paranoia. Let's say he had 3. He's still behind. He's still behind Teddy. But Barry, they're all this year. So to that, I'm going to ask you, Mr. Neurologist, Mr. ESPN Neurologist, Mr. Twitter Neurologist, I would like you to tell me what grade Tua's concussions were. I want you to tell me, since you know so much, what grade his concussions were. And if you knew the grade, what does that mean in terms of severity? Go look it up. But you're putting the halo on Teddy Bridgewater, which I don't have any problem with Teddy Bridgewater. If Teddy Bridgewater wants to smoke it up and he can play this Sunday and help the Dolphins win and play next time against the Jets and help the Dolphins win, hats off, salute. I'm right behind him. But don't give me any shit about Tua being injury prone. Don't give me any shit that Tua should retire. Don't give me any shit that he's a noodle arm and everything else you say when you don't even know the history of the guy replacing him. Straight up, fact. No, it's right there. I can show it to you again. You want to see it again? There it is. All of it right there. His entire injury history as a professional football player. We're not even going back to Louisville. And it goes all the way back to 2012. Am I hot about this? No. I wish Teddy Bridgewater the best this weekend. We need him to perform. We need him to win. We need Teddy Bridgewater to step up to the plate, be the 9-year vet that he is, and bring the Miami Dolphins to victory. And I support him wholeheartedly, and I want him to succeed. Don't let anyone comment and say, oh, Barry, you're just making whatever you guys want to say. It's not true. I'm just bringing you fact. What you do with it is up to you. You can continue to call Tua injury prone, but who are you comparing him to? Tua had an injury in Alabama. It took him a while to get healed at Miami. He's had a couple concussions, possibly 3 this year, and he's still behind the injury count of the guy who's stepping in for him. And I understand the asterisk, Barry, that's his history. Everything happened to Tua just this year. But let's talk about something else here. So, very interesting you say that. Here's a guy, and let me pull this up. He's the center for the Buffalo Bills. He was just cleared from his 6th concussion. Oh, but Barry, linemen are big guys. You're a big guy, Barry. You understand that linemen our brains are different. We got bigger craniums. We got big heads. And when we hit people, we're hitting them in the front of the head versus getting hit in the back. The excuses don't make any sense. This guy has had 6 concussions, and the NFL cleared him. He's ready to go. He can play again. 6. I'm not making it up. Buffalo Bills center Mitch Morse cleared from 6th concussion, returns to practice. What more do you have to? I mean, I can bring you this, and I can do this all day long, and just show you historically what concussions mean. Yes, they can cause a lot of issues, but I'm not a neurologist, and probably you're not one either. So I don't understand what all the uproar on Twitter is about, and why is it there's such animosity against Tua Tagovailoa. Kid's 25 years old. Let me look at the chart here. He's 24 years old. When I was 24 years old, I felt like I could run through walls. With all the steroids I was pumping in myself, I probably could have run through a few walls. He's 24. He's in the prime of his life. You don't think he's a little bit in a different situation than somebody who's 30, 31, 32? And I'm not going to make this about Tua today. I'm sorry if you guys, here he goes again. But no, I'm trying to give you actual facts. I don't know if anybody else is bringing this shit to you. But Teddy Bridgewater, if you think Tua is fragile, if you think Tua is injury prone, if you think Tua won't get over concussions, then why the hell do you want Teddy Bridgewater under center? That's just something you have to deal with. That's something you have to deal with in your mind because you don't have the facts. So that's the first segment. First segment is complete. So I'm going to take some comments real quick here. Let's talk to some people. XST Media says, talk about Tua if you need to. Yeah, I will. I've got some more stuff here for Tua. It's all good. LeSean Brown, don't start tonight. If I was Tua, I would sue the NFL if they tried to force him to retire. Lawyers would eat their ass up based on Barry facts. Yep. I don't think they can force him to retire. There's obviously, as I've said yesterday, there's obviously a movement afoot, a movement being orchestrated to go after Tua. And if a lawyer had the facts I just brought up and they tried to do something, I don't even know why they're initiating a review. But nonetheless, at least you're not saying Belly Kalikimaka. I guess I just said it. But yeah, Belly Kalikimaka passed. So I got to find some new Hawaiian terms to go with. Okay, now see, here's an argument. This is an argument from a dissenter, and I can accept this argument. This argument says we want Teddy because Tua has lost the last 4 games. Now, I could go back and forth with you and talk about what happened in those last 4 games. We can talk about Mike McDaniel's play calling. We can talk about receivers dropping the ball. But that's an argument that can be had. That's an argument that has merit. Hey, he's lost 4. It's time to bring in the relief pitcher. Let's tap in. Let's bring somebody else in. Okay. There's nothing I can argue with you about that. That is a valid and meritorious point to make about a player who's basically in a slump. For whatever reason, health, not being able to call the right plays, not being ready to execute, not being able to read, whatever it is, he's in a slump. And I would have to just say, I agree with you on that. Maybe it is time to try some fresh blood. Maybe it is time to tap in and bring somebody else in. That is a valid point. Has nothing to do with the noodle arm, has nothing to do with concussions. Hey man, he's lost last 4 games. Okay, I can't argue with you on that. Have to agree with you. Might be time for a change. Barry says you can see Teddy don't care. I don't know if Teddy doesn't care or if Teddy's been rolling the Maui Wowie and just like, I'm good, man. I got a lot of opportunity here. I think we're going to be fine this weekend. You know what? I'm going to see about 4 or 5 different receivers on every play, and I'm trying to hit one of them. But if he's successful, have at it. Teddy, when you get home Sunday night, if there's a W in the win column, I think some people should get together and send you a pack of Maui Wowie. Absolutely. Let's see where we go here. What is our Laura? This is a good question. What is our conditioning coach? Did that not? Okay. What is our conditioning coach? Lots of injuries. I'm going to get to that. There are even more injuries. Even more injuries. This team is beat the hell up. This team is beat the hell up all over the place. What does the Stevie Wonder comment by Teddy even mean? You got me. Yeah. Hey man, I'm gonna go over here and talk to Eddie Van Halen with my guitar and see if Eddie can't give me some lessons or something. I have no idea. Teddy is out there. And maybe he doesn't get any more concussions because he got the big old dreadlocks and it snugs into his helmet and he got all that cushion. So I don't know. Tyrese got the big dreadlocks. He pulls the helmet down. He doesn't get the concussion. Tua, You need to, grow some dreadlocks. Maybe that might help. Even Thomas says, "What here? He's seeing blind man can see what NFL is doing." God, hey man, I don't care if he's got the big bong and doing it up, as long as he. You guys are cracking me up, too. Teddy's seeing dead people. Whew, man, he said it, not me. Said he goes and talks to Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder. I think Stevie Wonder's still alive, though, isn't he? But if he's talking to Ray Charles, he's conjuring up and conversing with someone. I don't know if I want to go there. Do I play guitar? Badly. I mean, I've tried to play on and off for quite some time. It's fun to do that. I like to shred. I like my rock shredding, but I'm not that good. Mr. Z says, Eddie has passed. You might get his son Wolfgang. Not if I'm conjuring up and doing what Teddy's doing. Maybe I should go see Teddy and let's have a seance here. Let's bring some guys up. You know what? Can we bring up some old quarterbacks? Like, hey, let's talk to Johnny Unitas. Let's find out what John Unitas says you should be doing right about now. Teddy, you want to call somebody like that? I don't know. Hey, wow, Tony. Yeah, you play guitar? Awesome, brother. Give me a video. I'd like to see it. So as we're talking here and also in this Ohana, as we call it, from Hawaii. I'm not from Hawaiian, but I understand it's a little family here, and I'm still tearing up from my allergies. So the doctor said it should last another couple days, but I'm gonna muscle through this. I want to talk to you after. Now we talked about the concussions and everything else and Teddy playing, which I really hope that he does very, very well. So I want to play another segment about what is going on potentially with Tua from a guy who's been in the league for quite some time, and what this guy says about Tua and what he says about Teddy. And so I'm going to play this. It's an excerpt from the Pat McAfee show, and let's listen to what Aaron Rodgers has to say about the whole situation.
So Tua is back in the concussion protocol. I don't know how this exactly works. Like when you get put in after you played a whole game. I guess when it comes to like the whole protocol, how has that changed from when you got in the league until now? And what can they do? Like, what's the answer?
Well, there was no real protocol back in the day. Definitely not.
I had to stop it right there. We were talking about old-time football yesterday, and we're talking about what the league is doing today and where the league is headed. And so Aaron's sitting there. I think he's been here 12, 14 years, something like that. I guess he's right behind Brady. And like when I played there, none of this shit was even happening. We just played the game, man. We just played.
Not in game. There was I can't remember exactly, maybe in 05 or 06. I feel at some point there was some outside people. You had to pass some tests. There was always a computer test that was very difficult to pass, and then there was an in-person test that you had to pass. Then they added a balance test. So it all goes off of your baseline to get back on the field. But there's a number of different tests, and it's all slotted like day to day. Like the first day you can do this test, the second day you can do this test, and the third day you got to do both of them again or whatnot.
So these battery of tests that you go through, when I showed you Teddy Bridgewater's history, you're able to clear those tests rather quickly if you could do them. You didn't have to wait a week and go, okay, we're going to keep you in stage 1 for a couple days and stage 2, and you can't even go to practice. It's like, okay, just give me the test. You know what I'm saying? I took some aspirin. I'm feeling good. I'm ready to move on. That's how it used to be until, the league decided to go, whoa.
But look, I mean, everybody's head responds differently. I've said this many times. There's been certain guys who've taken some crazy shots, and you think they're going to be, out for a week or 2 weeks, and the next day you see them, and they're totally clear, totally fine. Now that might not be, what's going on in their brain, but as far as the cognizance, they're able to, to speak clearly. They don't have any sensitivity to light. They have no sensitivity to noise. All the kind of the markers for a concussion. Devontae is a prime example of that. That crazy hit he took against Chicago when Trevathan drilled him. We were all worried that this was going to be a multi-week thing. I saw him the next day. He's like, "Oh, I'm fine."
I'm fine. Devontae, who he's talking about, hooked a big hit and had to go into the concussion protocol and basically had to get dragged off the field. Aaron Rodgers sees him. He's like, "No, I'm good, man. Well, we need to take the test. We need to get your cranium looked at because we need to help you help yourself. You're too stupid to know if you're hurt. That's some of the stuff I've been hearing about Tua. You got to protect him from himself. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know how damaged he can be. It may set in a couple days later. You guys, and I don't mean this in any sort of demeaning terms, whatever. This game can't be played by basically guys who hit without being some sort of head, I won't say trauma, but dizziness. I mean, I want you to put on a helmet. Go buy one from Dick's Sporting Goods, put it on a helmet, walk over to a wall and go boom and see what happens. And then imagine doing it for 3 hours. Seriously. Now, one of the things I do agree with some people is that your neck is your shock absorber for your body. Your neck is what really can keep your head from incurring a lot of damage. I remember when I played, we used to have this contraption that looked medieval, and you'd strap it onto your head. It literally looked like this, and then there was a chain that came down where you'd hook it to weights, and you would just go like this, and you would just get your neck in shape. And at one point, my neck came down from my ears. Literally, my mom used to say, you have no neck. There's no neck on your body. It just connected to my shoulders. And so that was able to keep me from getting many concussions, plus the neck roll that I wore. So that if I did run into you, I mean, there was one time where I bit my tongue. I hit somebody so hard. But there's things you can do. In addition to, I've seen some people say, Tua needs to learn how to fall. He looks awkward. He looks clumsy. And that's because, think about it, until he got hurt at Alabama, he didn't have to fall. He didn't get hit hardly. Saban was running plays that didn't put him in danger. Until that last play, he put himself in danger. They're up by 30 points, and he runs out of bounds or tries to get out of bounds. The guy pulls his hip his hip joint out of socket. But, there are different things you can do that doesn't require you to retire.
It's like, well, you've done quite fine. Your brain took, some trauma, but as far as like his ability to think and move and working out can bring up symptoms as well. Everybody's brain responds differently. So for Tua, I think now it's getting interesting because he's had multiple now in the same season. That's when it gets a little more dangerous. He finished the game, so I don't know if he was dealing with any headache or anything. I've seen a play that they showed now where it looked like he got kind of tossed to the ground and may have had that whiplash effect, which can definitely do it.
And that's what I'm talking about, the neck, that whiplash effect when you're getting whipped around, and which I also think the NFL has to change, because part of what the defensive people are doing now, because they can't hit you, they're slinging you. They're doing everything they can to sling you around. The one where Tua locked up, the guy grabbed him and basically did a suplex because you can't land. I bet you every quarterback in the league would rather a 300-pound lineman land on him than sling him. I mean, seriously, you're slinging somebody, and at that point, who knows how you're going to land?
Much easier on grass than on turf, but now it's probably time to maybe consider shutting it down when you've had some episodes. I don't know if that's going to be in the thought process. As a competitor, that's the last thing you want. But at some point, you do start thinking about your cognitive function later in life and any after effects you might be dealing with. So I'm sure they'll be they have to now. The eyes of the NFL nation are probably on Miami now to see how they deal with this. And I like the kid. I think he's a real good kid, and I like the way that he speaks and represents his team and goes about his business. And
Aaron Rodgers just said what one of the problems I think too is having with the NFL and with certain fans. It's the way he handles himself and the way that he speaks and some of the stuff he wears on his face. I think there's a problem in the media because of who he is and what he says. You won't see any. I guarantee you will not see a single story anywhere about Teddy Two Gloves talking to Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles. That's what you would have thought Tua would have said. He's not cognizant. He's kind of out there. You're not making any sense, Tua. You're talking about Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder. You're talking about stuff. Hey man, what are you talking about? Your head's not on right. But nobody said anything about Teddy and his aloof manner in terms of talking about, dead guys that he's having conversations with. Would that not trigger somebody? It would trigger me, but I know what it's about.
And I wish him, all the healing necessary for his brain and just the patience and just to deal with this, which would be a difficult time, I'm sure, dealing with all the attention, the doctors, and the decision on what to do. So.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot because there's a lot in play when you talk about the future. And he hasn't hit his second contract yet, right? I mean, he's still in his first contract, so there is still a lot to be decided from a lot of different standpoints, as it is a profession and it is obviously very dangerous. And
Now, with everything that's going on, football is still a business. You're Stephen Ross, you're Chris Greer, and you're looking at a guy who's coming up for a new contract. Is it possible? Is it possible that you are looking at this right now and saying, we're not going to have to pay him $200 million. We're not going to have to pay him $180 million. We now have bargaining leverage. Tua, we'd love to open up a checkbook for you. We'd love to extend it and give you, $200 million and make you a top paid quarterback. But there's just too many ifs here. So, let's sign you for a 2 or 3 year deal. And let's look at, 110 maybe. And, if 110 works for you, I think that way you can prove yourself and we feel protected. This is a business. Don't for an instant not understand the business ramifications. We're all fans. We want to see the team win. We want to see the team move through the playoffs and possibly, God watching, would say, hey, they're in the Super Bowl. But at the same time, it's a business. And they know at this point, with that option year coming up and having to look at negotiation, Tua's going to be here. I'm going to say it right now on December 29th. If you think Tua is gone, you're delusional. He's not going anywhere. The only thing that matters right now is how much are they going to pay him? How much are they going to pay him to stay? Because I don't think, even though he may want to leave this toxic fan base, and that's going to be something else that he and his family and his parents and all talk about. But other than that, he's not going anywhere. So they're going to have to pay, and what they pay is part of the business of the NFL.
I'm hearing you say probably start thinking about your life here and shut it down. Those are going to be heavy words that are going to be, I assume, too.
Shut it down for the season? Or are you saying not play again? What are you saying?
No, I mean, I'm not saying not play again. I mean, there's been certain guys who've done that. A few guys over the years. I'm not saying that at all. I think that there's so much more research now about healing your brain and things you can do to combat gray matter and different long-term concussion symptoms. But I just hope that he gets the right help to make the right decision for him. But no, I'm not talking about career. I don't think that's necessary. There's been a lot.
So there's a 2-time MVP, Super Bowl winner, all-star quarterback, who just told you what the real deal is here. He's not going to retire. I mean, nobody can say with certainty. I doubt he retires. Let me rephrase that. I think Tua is going to continue to play. Whether or not he plays these last 2 games, I don't know. Can't tell you. But he's going to keep playing. Whether it's with the Miami Dolphins or not, that's another question as well. But nobody who knows thinks he's retiring.
A lot of quarterbacks over the years have dealt with a lot of concussions. Steve Young being one of them, who kind of had to retire because of the multiple shots that he took. And Steve, Steve today, and he's on TV.
Now understand, Steve Young was a different kind of player than Tua Tagovailoa. Steve Young wouldn't think twice about taking off on a 20-yard run and putting his body out there. Tua's a pocket passer. He may scramble here or there. He's clumsy. He falls over his own feet a lot of times. He doesn't have blazing speed. That's not the same kind of quarterback, so it's not the same kind of danger.
He does a great job. He's really sharp and doing great. Has no, lingering effects. Joe Namath has talked at length about some of the work that he's done to deal with some of the gray matter from some of the concussions that he had over the years. And there's a lot better research now in this field. I think that can help anybody who's worried about their long-term future. But I'm just saying this season, at least maybe for a week. Now, again, they're in the playoff hunt. They got an important game against, I believe, New England this week. So that's always, whether you want to admit it or not, that comes into play, whether in your mind or the team's mind. But I just hope he makes the best decision for him, and I'm sure.
Yes, make the right decision for him, period. That's why I cut it. Hope he makes the right decision for him. Not the crazy fans out there, his wife, his family, and him. That's who has to make this decision. And it's not retirement. It's not going to be retirement. I can pretty much say I would go to Las Vegas and put money down and say Tua is not retiring. That's how strong I feel. I think a lot's going to hinge upon what happens this Sunday against the New England Patriots. If the Dolphins lose against the Patriots and have to take a long shot to get in the playoffs, I think Teddy goes again next Sunday. But if they win and get in the playoffs, now you probably just want to rest to it and get them ready for what's probably going to be Kansas City. That's what I think. So tell me what you guys think. Let's go ahead and grab some comments. It's been a bit. Sorry, guys. Tony, you're absolutely right. I was gonna say that. Who's it? It's Nick Nolte and Mac Davis in North Dallas 40 with that big Matuzak. Every time I call it a game, you call it a business. Every time I call it a business, you call it a game. I remember, wow, I got chills from thinking about that because that's exactly right. And I remember, the other big guy, Bo Swenson, was in the huddle, and he's like, "What's wrong with you, man?" He goes, "I hurt, man. I hurt, Poot. We all friggin' hurt." If you guys have never seen that movie, it's probably one of the most realistic football movies you'll ever want to watch. And Bo Svenson's sitting there whining because he's getting his, as Jimbo would say, his thing put in his watch pocket, and this guy, whatever, forget his name, Reese, I think it was, just killing him all day. And he comes back in the huddle, "I hurt, Poot, I hurt." He's like, "What the hell are you talking about? We all hurt." Then they lose and they go in the locker room, and John Matuzak gives that line. "Every time I call it a business, you call it a game. Every time I call it a game, you call it a business." Football is business. Don't lose track of that when you're on Twitter, when you're watching YouTube videos like me. None of this shit matters. We're talking about $1 billion, $100 billion business. And that's what this is all about. Let's see here. Yay for the game, Mark. Not for his career. Okay, sure. Master Sergeant says, sure they hate him because his faith. In the meantime, most players are throwing up fingers to God on touchdowns. You're delusional. No, she's not delusional. That's why I put that up. There is something. It's inorganic that's causing people to talk about Tua the way they talk about him. I play piano and trying to play the Dolphins theme song when they score. Will we score in cold New England so I can play? Will Tua be our number 2 on Sunday? I think they haven't released it, but Tua is probably going to be inactive on Sunday. Skyler will most likely be number 2. Hopefully Teddy won't get tossed out the game on the first play again. And I understand New England's not supposed to be bitter cold this weekend. The New England weather, from what I understand, is like South Florida was last week. It's going to be 50-ish, which isn't bad, which is no excuse. That's football weather. There's no problem. There's no snow. Don't know about the wind up in Foxborough, but no problem there. Let's see. 2 is the truth, and he'll never retire. Nope. Eventually he will, obviously. We all do. But I don't think this is going to cause for retirement. And I don't think people should be pushing him to retire. Again, like Aaron Rodgers just said, there is so much more that technology can see into the brain and the gray matter and the different things like that we never had the ability to see before. Jim McEwen says, the NFL chief medical officer said he saw no behavior that would have triggered their protocol, yet the media pushing for Tua to retire. I talked about the media. I've talked about my experience in advertising and digital marketing. I've worked with some of the biggest clients in the world. Tua sells. Talking about Tua sells. People gravitate to it. They whether they like it or not, it's a moth to a flame, and then advertisers want to be in front of those people. And so the people at ESPN, who I think for the most part are marionettes being told what they can talk about, what they can talk about on air. I saw a show the other day with the guys from Ryan Clark, The Pivot, and they had Fred Taylor, Ryan Clark, and Channing Crowder on, and they were talking. I may play that tomorrow, and they were talking about Tua and where things are. And Ryan Clark was lambasting, just going nuts about Tua even stepping back on the field. Fred Taylor was talking about Tua was nuts for stepping back on the field if he comes back. And Shannon Crowder looked at these two guys and said, hey, man, I had a headache every damn game. I'd just go in the room and get some Hennessy. I'd be okay. And literally, that's what a lot of guys did. My problem is they don't put disclaimers on those shows. If you want to figure out what perspective people are talking from, they should at least tell you what their history is. When they're up there, they'll say, hey, listen, here's Ryan Clark. He played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He played in the Super Bowl, blah, blah, blah. Underneath it, they should say, here's Ryan Clark, who got beat the hell up, had multiple concussions, was hurt here, and here. Here's Fred Taylor, who tried to sue the NFL because of his injuries that he had. It puts a different perspective. It's like, oh, you guys got an axe to grind. You guys have a problem with Tua, and you wish you were him probably, that you could play through it if you had better medical technology. But nobody calls these people on that stuff. Jesse, you're absolutely right. Kenny Pickett had 2 concussions. Nobody talked about Kenny Pickett as a rookie having to retire. Nope, didn't come up. Didn't come up. Like I told you, the guy from the Buffalo Bills. Doesn't come up. Nobody talks about it. Gary R. says, let Tua decide when he's going to retire. That decision is between Tua and his family, not sports journalists. I don't understand why people can't grasp that simple concept. I've told you, as I've been wiping my eye here, that I have an allergy. I don't know if it's carpet in the room or whatever. But I go to the doctor, and the doctor says, you got to do this and you got to do that. I'm like, that has nothing to do with my allergy. Yeah, but we want to see you healthy. That's between me and my doctor. And of course, my wife. I tell her everything. She tells me everything I think. Nobody knows. You don't go on ESPN and hey, Tua, can we talk to your doctor? Let's hear from your doctor, because we really want to know what's going on with your dome. We want to know if your cranium is cracked, man. Give us some information so we can spit it out, so we can call Adam Schefter, because Adam Schefter is the guy everybody calls, and you're not calling him. Notice that. That's one of the problems, like with Aaron said, that's one of the problems with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers goes on the Pat McAfee show and spits out what he wants, completely unfiltered. I don't care what you think. When he was going through the whole vax thing and, I don't care what you think. Those guys didn't get the scoop. He'd go on Pat McAfee show and say what he wanted to say. Or he'd go on Joe Rogan's show and say what he wanted to say. He didn't call Adam Schefter, which is a whole different medium. This is now the medium. It's people, hopefully like me, that you guys feel you're getting the right information. Not some marionette on a network who can't and who's afraid to say what they really feel. Do you think any one of those guys? Okay, let me prove it to you. Just the odds of it. How many of the people at ESPN on air really feel that we should have traded the Merchant of Death for Brittany Griner? I'm not asking you. I'm just asking you, how many people do you feel at ESPN think the trade for Brittany Griner was worth it? So if there was just a law of averages, there's no way it's 100%. 70-30, 60-40, 80-20. Even if it was 90-10, do you think that 10% of people would have gone on the air at ESPN and said, hey, I don't like this at all. I think Brittany Griner should still be in jail in Russia? Nope. Would have never said it, no matter how they feel, because they can't. They can't possibly say Brittany Griner should be in jail in Russia. Nope. They would never say it, no matter how they felt. They'd be yanked off the air mid-show. You know that's true. You absolutely know that's true. It's impossible for 100% of the people on a network to say, without any equivocation, that X, Y, or Z is true. Impossible. So then you have to realize you're watching entertainment and you're watching the media who's basically looking at the landscape of things and saying, let's talk about Tua, who nobody cares about Kenny Pickett. Nobody cares about this center from Buffalo. Let's just hound on the Tua thing. If more we can hound about Tua, the more we look like, we're looking out for him. We're really understanding what's going through him. Teddy Bridgewater's out here talking to dead people, but that's just Teddy. That's just Teddy. And Ray Rice is out here beating up women, and this guy is shooting his girlfriend. But Tua needs to go retire. Come on, man. Come on. What you said from sap because you have a good chance of dying on the field. Sure. Hey, if that's true, let me ask you a question. Have you seen anything on Fox Sports? Have you seen anything on ESPN about the multitude, not 1, 2, 3, or 4, the multitude of athletes who have dropped dead suddenly because of something they were advised or forced to take? Sports? In sports, you're saying that, he's worried about dying on the field. What about all the guys who have passed away? They talked about Pele today, God bless his soul, great soccer player. What about the soccer players who have just dropped dead? Why don't they talk about them? Because it's entertainment, and their bosses don't want them to talk about it. We should have held. Hey, they're going to come for you now, Nicole. I just posted your comment. We should have held out for Griner and at least a couple of draft picks for Virgin of Death. Maybe if they could have got down at the brass tacks and said, "Hey, listen, we need a couple offensive linemen for the Miami Dolphins. Hey, Vlad, let's work something out. Give us a couple of your biggest, baddest ass soldiers, and we'll turn them into linemen for the Miami Dolphins so we can see if we can't do something." I'm obviously making fun, but you see what I mean. Merchant of Death is a baller. Oh my God. You guys crack me up. You guys absolutely crack me up. Whiplash73 says Barry Sanders, Andrew Luck, Robert Smith, Tiki Barber, Patrick Wills all quit while they were ahead. And if every single one of them, it was their choice. That's what we're saying. Nobody, unless you can go dig it up, did anybody from ESPN say that any of those guys should, in fact, when Andrew Luck retired, people are like, what? I can't believe he did it. I can't believe he just walked away. Nobody said, hey, Andrew Luck, you should hang him up, man. Prove me wrong. Show me if any of those players were told to hang him up. Advised to hang him up. Let's see here. Sharp Football Analysis reports entering Week 16, there have been 125 NFL players with reported concussions this season, and you probably only heard about 6 of them. And out of those people, those are the ones with reported concussions. I'm telling you, there are offensive linemen across the league who walk into a locker room after a game buzzing. But we don't get put into protocol because they think we're big lugs anyway. They think we're, just like, okay, I'm okay. And we're also replaceable. But anyway, you didn't hear about it. Let's see. Barry, we're going to win this Sunday. It's all about the logo. I like to see it. So, yeah, how many? That's a good question. Wait a minute. Where did that go? I got to find it. Okay, here it is. Great question. Maybe one of you guys can dig it up. How many concussions did Mahomes have? That's something you could probably easily search. Tony or Grandizer, one of you guys are still in here. Tell me that. Tell me how many times Patrick Mahomes has had a concussion before he put on the big helmet. I probably could search it, but nonetheless. Dwayne Martinez says Teddy kind of looks very uninterested in playing. Hope he surprises us. From what I've seen of Teddy this year, that's just Teddy. He's low key, lackadaisical. Got the Marley album on. Got the spliff man. Got the spliff roll man. Irie. He don't care. He'll play. He'll play. But no, I don't think you expect him to like go nuts if shit happens bad for him. All right, so Sharp says, and I believe you're talking about Patrick Mahomes. Two people have said it. Patrick Mahomes has had 3 concussions. Not the same year. He had 3 concussions. And there ain't a single guy. No, Stephen A. ain't talking about get rid of Patrick Mahomes. He needs to go. He needs to go retire. He needs to. No, they don't talk about it. So let's look at something else here. Let's jump to something else I want to talk about as we move into another segment of the show. This is where I would be cutting and starting again when I post it. I wonder how Twitter's doing tonight. I haven't checked Twitter. I wonder if anyone's even watching on Twitter. But they're going to be. I couldn't believe it was so easy to simulcast to Twitter at the same time. We've been going for 50 minutes. I wonder if it's still going. All right, so let's talk about something else here. I like getting some stuff from Twitter. This is from a guy called Dolphins Pence 99. Considering Teddy Bridgewater suffered multiple concussions last year, multiple, and Kenny Pickett suffered multiple concussions this year, why is the response to Tua suffering multiple concussions in a season so much different, with so many saying he should retire, but not other players? And Dolphins Spence, basically he's only got 2 followers. I know the guy is real because he's the one who sent me this tweet, and he was shocked because Omar Kelly, formerly from the Sun Sentinel, responded to him. Do you know what Omar Kelly said? I'm going to show you, but it says everything, and he would know. Omar's response was, because everyone in the media hates Tua. You can see it. The guy asked, why is this such a big thing with Tua? So a member of the media, who's now with the guys over at I Am Athlete, who was a supporter of Brian Flores, just said, everyone in the media hates Tua. I don't know. I don't like using superlatives like everyone, but he used the word. He's in the media. Some people think he was not a good reporter for the Sun Sentinel when he talked about the Dolphins, but he rubs elbows with these guys. Now with the guys from I Am Athlete, he's rubbing elbows with players and people around the league. They've got a giant podcast. They all talk. Brandon Marshall. They all talk. They know people. Everyone in the media hates Tua. That is a statement that you guys need to really understand. And it's funny, let me go back to this. After he said that, he goes through and then people are saying, why? What is it? People are trying to respond. Why? They don't know. Why is it? It doesn't seem this is the case. It's confusing. Why? Why is it that so many people in the media hate Tua? Could it be that he's being T-bowed? I don't know. But you have to agree, no matter where your head is as a Miami Dolphin fan or a Buffalo Bills fan, something isn't right. There's not this kind of animosity for any other player in the league. And so I gotta believe that Omar is onto something, and not only is he onto something, I think Omar wants to say it. I think given the opportunity, and Omar, if you ever see this, come on. I would gladly have you on the show. I don't usually do interviews, but if you know something and you're able to tell it, because my other thing is, I don't think he can tell what he knows. I think if he told what he knows, he'd never get access to anybody ever again. The media, from a media guy, says they all hate Tua. So let's continue here. So Barry Jackson put up something, and it was very interesting. I love Barry stuff because he's got access just like Omar had. And he says, an update on Tua, where he stands and more in today's aftermath of the Sunday concussion. One prominent concussion expert says he does not need to retire. Just by saying that, just by saying he does not need to retire, here comes the insane clown posse. The insane clown posse just came after him and just attacked him. You can't speak against the jab. You can't speak against Tua having to retire. You guys got to go with Teddy Bridgewater, and that's it. You guys and your quarterback who speaks to dead people, that's it. You have to go with Teddy Bridgewater, because if you went with Tua, you could end up killing him. He has to retire. He has to leave the league. But what about everybody else? Oh, no, we're just talking about Tua right now. And so Barry talked about it. He said he does not need to leave the league. And he goes on, he talks about other injuries, and look how bad these guys are beat up. I'm going to get to that. So McDaniel wasn't the only person who thought Tua should see a doctor. Bev, who's the quarterback's coach, says, I saw some things in the game and talked to Tua the next morning, and from the information we had, thought it was enough information to go see the doctor. So now you have an assistant coach echoing what Mike McDaniel said. So whatever it was they asked him, and it may have been simple, what was your read on this route? And if Tua said, I don't remember. What? Well, look at it now. You know, if you didn't remember then, what would the read be at this point in the play? And if he stuttered, if he hesitated, hey man, something ain't right. You know your reads. You know your reads like the back of your hand. I know if Tyreek is running this way or he runs a slant, where I've got to put the ball. If he runs it out, where I've got to put the ball. If the safety comes up and it's single high, all the different terms, I know what I have to react to. I'm the only one besides the wide receivers who can see the play. So at the snap, what's your pre-snap read? What was your pre-snap read right now? And I'm holding the tape. And I'm like, well, I see a one high safety, and I see Tyreek, rather, man-to-man. So what were you supposed to do when you see a one high safety inching over and one-on-one coverage with Tyreek? And there better not be a stutter. There better not be a pause. You need to know that right away. As a lineman, if someone's in the A gap and you know where the ball is going, you know immediately who you got to block. Who's going to have your backup? Where's this guy going? Are you sliding him off to him? Am I pulling? Whatever the call was made at the line, there's not someone tapping you on the shoulder. Hey, Barry, yeah. If this guy goes left, I need you to go right. Oh, okay. No, it doesn't work that way. So as a quarterback who has the complete control of the ship, when you see somebody go in motion and you see this guy follow him or not follow him, stop. What's your read right here? Tyreek came in motion and he went back in motion, and you're seeing what this guy's doing. Stop. What's your read right here? There are so many times I could catch you if I'm a coach and I could see if something's wrong. All right, so you came out the huddle. You had 10 seconds to snap the ball. What was your call at the line of scrimmage? What was your cadence? I don't remember. You see how easy it is for a coach to see that? What I don't understand is there are other guys out there hearing the call. Did nobody on the side, on the field, not one, did none of the receivers go, hey man, why the hell did you throw it there? I was taking an in route. And then go off the field and say, hey, Mike, McD, something's not working, man. Something's not working at all. This guy's not who we need right now. Bring in Teddy Talk to Dead People guy right now. Bring in Teddy who talks to dead singers, Motown singers. Bring him in, because Tua is off his rocker. There's nothing wrong with a player doing that. I don't know why it didn't happen. All right, so let's go to something else Barry said. What is the likelihood we will see Tua play again this regular season? He posed that to Bev, the coach, QB coach. We can't even answer that question. It's day-to-day deal. See how he's reacting and what the medical people say. Now, if it's day-to-day, then you're telling me that he's progressing through the protocol. And so you would have an idea when he could be cleared, potentially, if it's just day-to-day. if the doctors are saying, hey, listen, he's at stage 1 and we can't even advance him to stage 2 right now, it's probably going to be a week before we can get there, you'd know that. The fact that he said it's day to day tells me he's moving through the protocol, but he's not all the way through the protocol by Saturday or Sunday, whatever. So who knows? But just wanted to bring that to you. All right. So I had a question about this. We've had some other people have these questions. Is, the big Gazoo helmet that I was talking about, and how Patrick Mahomes wears it. Teddy Two Dead. I'm going to call him Teddy Two Dead. He wears one. He goes, have there been any discussions such as wearing a more padded Kenny Pickett type helmet? There's been, not at this moment, there's been conversation about certain things that we've huddled up about. What does that mean? What does that mean? You haven't talked about getting the big Gazoo helmet yet? Why not? Why hasn't that not even been a conversation piece yet? Something's weird. Something's very weird. Something's very weird. And then here, I'm going to take some comments after this next one. I just want you guys to see this. Remember how we said Tua is going to be talking to his family, that being his wife, his parents, etc.? Okay, here we go with this one. There's been no talk, none. There's been no talk of Tua retiring, and concussion expert says he doesn't need to. I just feel like he's not going to stop playing football. His brother told the AP, the Associated Press. His brother, his family. I don't see there's any way that Tua is going to retire. So, taking a 2 or 3 week hiatus, I don't know. If the season's over, they don't make the playoffs, I don't know. But he's not retiring. If his own brother says it, forget ESPN, turn them off. They're lying to you. Don't watch Fox Sports. They're lying to you. All these athletes that are getting paid to spew out stuff, they're lying to you. His own brother just said he's not going to stop playing football. That's just not going to happen, people. Not going to happen. So let's take a few more comments here. Lashoon Brown says that Tua is about to shock the world. If we make the playoffs, he's going to play, and when he do, he's going to upset the Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. I would hope so. I would absolutely I would hope, definitely would hope to. Let's see here. Let me take another one from somebody who hasn't. Tua loves to play the game of football. Yes, he does. Lashoon, ease up with the comments, bro. You're kind of spamming everybody here. Whiplash, I'm hoping the same thing. I hope Teddy goes out, gets the right blend this weekend, maybe Saturday night, gets himself feeling good, and comes out and plays on Sunday and wins, and the Dolphins get into playoffs. That's what we need to be focusing in on now, and that's why I opened this show with talking about Teddy. So we go to ask. Okay, hold on. Barry, do you really think this is a good? Barry, do you really think Tua weighs a small percent of hate when compared to the total fan base without socials in his decision? Nah, I don't think so. I don't think any. I forget. Remember, I'm simulcasting this on Twitter, so I'm getting myself out in trouble here. I don't think any reasonable person takes Twitter seriously. There, I said it. There are so many bots. There are so many anons, people who don't use their real name, who would never say things. There are so many orchestrated campaigns. You got guys on farms with 20 phones all tweeting about Tua sucks and everything else. The entire insane clown posse is out there. It's the most astroturf of the social networks there is. Hopefully Elon Musk can fix it, but right now anybody with a smartphone that wants to can say whatever they want and then come after you for disagreeing with them. It's insane. Repo says you can't get in trouble on Twitter anymore. No, but doesn't mean that the mob can't come for you. I mean, the mob just loves to come for people on Twitter at this point. The the insane clown posse over at Twitter, they don't care. They'll come. They don't care. They don't care. All right, so a couple more things I want to. Oh wait a minute, here's something Capital Life said. Nick Hicks also tweeted today, Barry, that Tua is not going anywhere for a long time. I think I agree with his brother also. So Nick Hicks, in case you guys don't know, Nick Hicks, I guess, was one of Tua's personal trainers that got him into shape and helped him come back from the hip injury. Nick, if you're watching or you see this, get some neck exercises in. Man, I want to see Tua looking like this next time you take a picture. Hey, I'm Tua Tagovailoa, third year out of Alabama. I got no neck. That's what I want to see Tua look like. And then I want to see a horse collar. I want to see a horse collar like Brian Cox used to wear, so that his head can't go back like that. And then I want to see the big Gazoo helmet. But yes, Nick Hicks, who knows Twitter. I mean, Tua, who I believe is a part of that inner circle. Tua's not going anywhere. Just understand, if you take anything from tonight, Tua isn't going anywhere. He may miss the next game, he may miss the next two, but Tua isn't going anywhere. All right, so I've got a couple more things I want to bring to you, and then we can close up here. And this was problematic to me as much as anything else was. And this here. So Tua, let's get off of Tua for a second. Let's look at the playoff game coming up. Barry also quoted this. He said, Xavier Howard has now been added to the injury report with a knee issue. Brandon Shell has been added with a shoulder problem. In addition to both those guys, then we've got, let's see here, Bradley Chubb with an ankle and a hand. He's in a cast. Ingold in a cast for his thumb, didn't practice, leaving them certainty and doubt for Sunday. Armstead is hurt every single week. Fisher, who he signed as a free agent, hasn't been able to step on the field because his calf hurts. Craycraft, and then obviously Tua. So this team is beat to shit. We're in the 17th week, 16, 17. And this team is just dilapidated. They've been beat to hell. They're basically crawling to the finish line. This team is being held together by Band-Aids at this point. And the only thing I think that's going to win this game, nothing bad against Teddy 2 Dead, who I'll call, is heart. This is the game where these guys have to go out there and get 6 to 10 points solely on heart. Just out tough the New England Patriots. This is the game where they rally as 53 men and throw the team on, everyone throw team on your shoulders and reach down and say, we gotta win. I hurt, you hurt, he hurts. The whole team is hurt. How much more hurt can anybody be? This entire team is like the Walking Dead. And yet their spirits have to be up to play against the Patriots. Now, the good thing about the Patriots, and this is the really good thing about the Patriots, is their secondary, I don't know if you've heard, but their secondary is hurt. So if Teddy can get the protection, if Teddy knows the plays, and what Mike McDaniel, I believe, needs to do is reduce the playbook. You're playing with QB2, reduce the playbook. Don't put a whole bunch of fancy shit in there. Don't confuse him. You had 1 week to prepare, and yeah, Teddy's been on the sideline smoking his dope and flipping through the clipboard, but he doesn't know all of the plays. There's no way he understands all the different reads. He hasn't been enough on the field to understand all the reads. He hasn't got enough first team reps. Reduce the game. Obviously, this works. Hey, Rashid, here you go. Hey, Jeff Wilson, here you go. I can do this in my sleep. I don't have to do any reads. And then, of course, if you get the shot with Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, you take it. Reduce the game. My key to the game this week is heart, and reduce the game for Teddy 2 Dead. You got to do it. You don't have a choice at this point, because otherwise we're in trouble. And speaking of trouble, Barry Jackson, I'm really liking this guy, maybe because his name is Barry. He says this. I mean, I don't know if you saw the other ones. I'm going to blow this one up a little bit more. This is really important. There's a couple things I want you guys to see here. So Barry Jackson tweeted this at 1:23 in the morning. I don't know what he does, his daily schedule, but at 1:23 in the morning, I was snoring and drooling. The dog was probably licking my knees. At 1:30 in the morning, Barry Jackson says, surprised to see support for Tua diminish so dramatically among Dolphin fans on this platform, talking about Twitter, considering his popularity a month ago. Yeah, he's absolutely right. These guys came out in droves, absolute droves, to try and attack Tua. The insane clown posse fans. I've worked in social media and digital marketing for a long time, and I've always advised my clients, do not ban or delete comments, because sometimes that can get you into more of a problem than the actual comment. For the first time in my career, first time ever, I've begun deleting and banning people on Twitter and on YouTube. The toxicity is off the charts. And so for a major reporter here in South Florida to write and say at 1:30 in the morning, hey man, there's something wrong. This guy's been a writer in here for 30 years in South Florida. He's probably been here since, let me look at Barry's profile here. How long has he been here? Is it up here? 35-year Miami Herald veteran. So Barry has been here for quite some time. Longer in South Florida than I've been in South Florida. And he, at 1:30 in the morning today, this morning, had to tweet something and said, what is going on? What is going on with this fan base? This makes absolutely no sense, except it does. This makes no sense because these people want Tua gone. And they can't even fathom that he may come back this season, and they don't want him here next season. There were even people talking about bringing Derek Carr here. I mean, we're talking just absolute insanity. And it just kept going and going and going. And it caused a guy like Barry Jackson, who's been a 35-year veteran of South Florida sports and journalism, to go, whew, man, what in the hell is wrong with these people? Let me show you this one. This really got me. My fans love me. This dude took the time to find my phone number, and he's allegedly a Dolphins fan. Yeah, I'm a new fan with an inheritance. God, I wish. For 2 years, not that I work or anything, that said, you see me New England spending money. Here was the text that this guy got from a Dolphins fan. Hey, fanboy, the Dolphins in Tua, expletive deleted, sucks. Take his expletive deleted out of your mouth. You could be doing something more productive than wasting your money as a dick-riding fanboy. At least you don't have to worry about making the Super Bowl, and you jumped on the scene about 2 years ago where you lost and then found by the Dolphins, or you just got some inheritance money and now you can travel. This isn't sanity. This isn't normal behavior by a fan base. It has gone completely off the rails, and at this point, it's just time to block and ban people, because something evil has taken place here. Something has caused these people to go completely off their rocker. Just completely off the deep end. Unbelievable. So let me take a couple more comments here, and then I'm going to close with a story that I know you guys are going to love. All right. Sal E says, run the ball, give the QB a break of winning the game for your running opens passing lanes. Yep, absolutely. Like I said, Teddy can do this, and I know he can do that in his sleep. Hand it off. Just hey, take the ball. Take the ball. Do that all game long. Yeah, Tua needs, I remember Don Beebe. Tua needs that oversized helmet that former Buffalo Bills Don Beebe used to wear. That can help him. Yeah. I would, if I'm Mike McDaniel, I say you don't play unless you have that helmet on. Case closed. Patrick Mahomes can wear it. You can wear it. Yep, dink and dunk all game long. Okay. Marino had some of the best competition. Elway, Kelly, Montana. Yep. And he also knew when to throw the ball away. And that's something Tua still hasn't understand. Hey, man, throw the ball away. Don't try to make something happen. Should the Dolphins be concerned moving forward about Tua missing extended time over the last 2 years? Concerned, but not, how can I say? It shouldn't be a decision-making capacity other than business of signing him to a new contract. I would make, if I were Stephen Ross, I would say I would make that contract so incentive laden that you got to be on the field to earn the big bucks. You want $200 million? Okay, I want a quarterback that's going to be on the field. So how about we say this? How about we say you get 100, and if you play 10 games, you get another mil. If you play 15 games, we'll give you another 10. And if you play all 17, then, we'll throw in another 10. If you make the playoffs and you play in the playoff games, you see what I mean? Step it up. Give them the incentive. That's what I would do with Tua. And that way you're protected as well. Let's see here. The fan base has caused me to stop tuning into, I think that's Dudley, and the irrational hate is mind-blowing. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And I don't know how he's handling. What I've tried to do is go in here and I've tried to basically put things on hold. You have to be a subscriber for at least, a few minutes. So you just can't come in here and spam and everything. And then I've just been at night going through it and banning people because I can't take the insanity. Man, I'm here for content and an education. I don't need to get banned, bro, especially out of drive home. I got nothing else to watch, Barry. Dude, I'm not. See, you're one of those people. You say what you feel. You don't antagonize too much. And I'm not banning you because I encourage dissenting opinion. It's the nuts who say stuff like you're riding to his jock. I mean, they're just out there. I don't even understand how they get up in the morning. I mean, it's that bad. So before I go too long, and some of you guys, I'm already over an hour. I said I was going to do this for an hour. I have one more story for you. I said a couple nights back that the plan for the NFL was to turn the NFL into a flag football situation. People commented, you're crazy. You're as crazy as these Dolphins fans. Yeah, okay. I told you I would find the goods. You're not going to like what you hear, and you're still probably going to call me crazy when I show it to you. The NFL wants to take this league into a flag football league, and if they can get away with it, it's gonna happen. How do I know this? Well, I have an article from the NFL, and from the NFL it says the NFL is making a strong push for flag football in the Olympics. I'm going to blow this up. I want you to see this. Say, Barry, that's just the Olympics. That doesn't really mean anything. Okay. Read this with me and understand this is by Troy Vincent from the NFL. When we talk about the future of the game of football, you see this here? When we talk about the future of the game of football, it is no question flag football. From Troy Vincent. When I've been asked over the last 24 months, and in particular, what does the next 100 years look like when you look at football? Not professional football, it's flag. It's the inclusion and the true model of football for all. There is a place in flag football for all. There. That was on NFL.com by the NFL. The future of inclusion. And you know what that means? You know what that means. It means they're going to put the pantyhose football league out of business. I can't believe they're going after the national panty football. And with the women running around out there with bras and panties and fake shoulder pads, and you're going to take it away from them because you want to include everybody. You want to make sure that flag football is the future of football. I didn't make it up, guys. It's right there. And then here's the actual article that he said it. This is on NFL.com by Troy Vincent, the executive VP of football operations. Do I need to blow this up? So you guys still with me? Nobody had passed out yet of hearing this shit. Flag football is football's future. American football, what comes to mind with these two words? You're probably thinking of a male-dominated sport, 11 players on each side going at it full tilt in pads and helmets. Yeah, that's football. That's exactly what I think. That's exactly why we tune in on Sunday. We want to see a male-dominated sport with 11 guys on each side going at it full tilt with helmets on. That's it. That's essentially what football is. That's why we tune in. Not for him. The next words may surprise you. Remember, this is written by him. This isn't an article in a newspaper. This is on NFL.com, written by the senior executive vice president of football operations. The next words may surprise you. Flag is the future of football. Go ahead and read that again. Next words may surprise you. Flag is the future of football. Before you run out of the room screaming, try to hear me. Tackle will continue as a professional game played in the NFL and its amateur pipeline through youth to college, but flag will dominate in neighborhoods, schools, and recreational leagues. It's happening in front of our eyes. Flag football is already played in more than 100 countries around the world. It's global and counting. Mr. Vincent, can I have a hand? If we don't have to worry about it for professional football because the amateur pipeline from youth through college is still in place. What happens when that pipeline is done because you've got people running around in skirts and flags and there's no more pipeline? There's no more kids coming through high school. You don't think the educators, the nut job educators that are out there aren't going to push to stop football in many high schools? That pipeline is dead. You'll kill it. That's your intention. You can't say it right now, but that's where you're going to go. What happens if you start making these kids play this stuff? This is the kind of words that scare me. The evolution of American football and the explosion of non-contact participation has launched flag into the conversation. Okay. You're going to see the word. It's coming. Here we go again. A concerted effort leading flag football's push towards inclusion. Inclusion. Whenever you see these buzzwords, shit should be going off in your head. Just blink, 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 neon. Inclusion, global. Inclusion, global. Inclusion, global. It's amazing. The momentum is real. Countries such as Mexico and Canada are flush with talent. At this point, there's no question that flag football belongs in the games. That's because, and here's the payoff, guys. If you're anti-political or whatever, you may want to disconnect here. But here's the paragraph. You ready for it? Can you see it? That's because flag football is truly all-inclusive and uniquely accessible, epitomizing our creed, the NFL, that football is for all. Did you know that the NFL creed was football is for all? Regardless of gender, age, class, ability, you don't even have to be any good, disability, or body type. There's a place for everyone in the sport. I'm going to just let you guys hear it, let it germinate. Let you understand what's going on here with the all-inclusive, uniquely accessible football that he has in mind. I'm not crazy. I can read. I know what the buzzwords are. I guess the only good thing about this is that Tua may be able to play forever. If we go to flag football, we might see 65-year-old Tua out there throwing to Teddy Bridgewater, who'll be 69, smoking the doobies and talking to dead people. Anybody can play. He said it. Football is for all, regardless of gender, age, class, ability, disability, or body type. There's a place for everyone. That, my friends, is flipping scary. Things have gone way, way, way off the deep end, where they want to take football and put it into flag football because of its inclusive nature. You think they put those slogans in the end zone for no reason at all? You don't think they've already got their master plan in place where they want to take football? Do you not realize that this guy, and again, Barry didn't make this up. Barry didn't put this together. This guy is Troy Vincent, the executive vice president of football operations for the NFL. That, my friends, is something for you guys to dwell on. We're all talking about Tua playing and possibly retiring and having a concussion, and these people are ushering in flag football because of its inclusivity, inclusiveness, its global reach. And we could go ahead and have people of any body type, class, ability playing football. I'm not watching it. So I'm going to take some comments, and I had the screen closed, so I don't know what you guys are saying. Wow. Oh, the first comment. Somebody needs to check Troy Vincent for a concussion. Yeah. They think that we're going to sit through that crap. There's just not enough people. I'm sorry, I don't care what your persuasion is. I don't care what your political affiliation is. When you're looking at the stands of 60, 70,000 football fans, and they're out there cheering their team, those 60 to 70,000 football fans are going to evaporate. I'm changing the channel if I see flag football. Am I a bigot? No. I want football. If you want to have a separate league, that's fine. But telling me the future of the game I love is flag football, you can need a big one. That ain't ever happened. Frankie the Lab, skirts on quarterbacks. Yeah, like I said, at that point, Tua may be ahead of his time. He can keep playing. I don't even know what guys like me would be empty. There's no place for linemen. Maybe I could be a quarterback. Doesn't matter what age I am. Maybe I can end up being a 70-year-old quarterback somewhere. I wouldn't mind that. Maybe I get to run routes. Maybe you get to run routes. I would pay to see a game where everyone's on edibles. Yeah, it sounds like that. We're all joking. That was the senior vice president, executive vice president, the grand poobah of the NFL, and he absolutely stared at that, wrote it, typed it. Oh, can't wait to type this. And look at, okay, just so you guys know, let me go back here. I want you to see this. Look at when this article came out. This article isn't from a long time ago. That was something that, they put that in mothballs. They're not doing that anymore, Barry. That's October 10th. That's a little over 60 days ago. And he just went, hey, man, it's time for flag football. It ain't happening. I ain't doing it. I'm not following it. What's to say? If NFL goes flag, y'all still watch? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think we're all going to watch a flag football game. I'm not watching it. I mean, once in a while I may turn into the panty league, but maybe they can wear panties and play flag football. I bet you guys would watch that. Tony says the participation bowl. Absolutely. He said, "What you gonna want?" You called it. Troy Vincent was a Dolphin. What do you expect? Yep, that might be it. That might that might explain it right there. Troy Vincent was a Dolphin. Wait. Where's Nicole's thing? You're getting too close now. Do you think there will be hate penalties? You're gonna get me in trouble, especially on Twitter if I answer that. If I answer that, I might get in trouble. Stop. Thanks, 100, Anthony. Thank you. Lorenzo says it's not going to replace the NFL. The article is written as the version because of all the publicity Tua Tagovailoa's concussion is receiving. I hope you're right. I hope you are right. But at this point, I don't trust anything people are saying. That's how bad it's become. That's how bad it's become that we can't trust that the leaders of certain organizations are actually telling us the truth. Just think, and we can close on this, those same leaders had some guy up in a booth with binoculars, and he said, Teddy Two Gloves stumbled on the first play of the game, yank him out. That's done. I can't trust a league that does that. I can't trust a league that opens a review against the Miami Dolphins when at the same time we have some guy here who has had his sixth concussion and you allow him to play. I can't trust a league that does that. And because many of us can no longer trust a league that does this insanity, playing flag football can't be too far out the realm of possibilities. Crazy. Let's see what happens. Anyway, guys, thanks for indulging me for, hour and a half. I went way over. Sorry about that. But I got a lot of content to cut up now. Hope you guys will, stick around. Tomorrow we'll find some more topics. And as I move forward with this new way of doing things, I hope you continue to join me. And then I got to go check Twitter to see if I just got absolutely flamed or reported